everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Ultra. Today we find ourselves in 1 Kings. We're going to be dialing into 1 Kings chapter 19, chapters 20. And deer season, as you know, is over. Now, some of you may say, oh, that's so sad. Duck season's over, so oh, it's so sad. Me, on the other hand, look, I'm so happy. I've caught up on sleep this week, and it has been so phenomenal. Kat, her deer hunting to her is like, I mean, it's way up here. To me, I love the turkey hunt. I love the turkey hunt and duck hunt and all that kind of stuff. A lot more than I necessarily like to deer hunt, and that is because in turkey hunting, like I did a little bit earlier in the beginning of the video, you get to call them in. And in that calling is where we're going to find our guy that we're going to talk about today. His name is Elisha. So Elisha in chapter 19 is going to be called. And he's going to be called by God in an example. So in verse 19, chapter 19, it says, So Elijah went and found Elisha, son of the Shaphat, plowing a field, and there were 12 teams of oxen in the field, and Elijah was plowing with the 12 of them. Elijah went over and threw his cloak across the shoulders, and then he walked away. Elijah left the oxen standing there and ran after Elijah and said, First let me go kiss my father goodbye, and then I will go with you. And Elijah said, Go on back, but think about what I have done to you. And that was the calling of Elisha. Now, many times, and this whole talk today is for future pastors, and I don't even know how long this is going to be, to be honest, but it's for future pastors, people who are called by God. Right now, you know that you're being called by God, or maybe you're asking the question, am I being called by God? Is He calling me? The number one way to know if God is calling you is to get behind the oxen and serve. Number one way. In fact, it may be the only way. Because until you begin to serve and until you begin to do the work that God has called you to do, you're not going to know if you're called at or not. You're not going to know if you're good at it or not, or if the Lord has blessed you in this way or not. But when you are serving, and it may not smell great, it may smell like a team of oxen. 12 of them. Could you imagine? And look, serving isn't always that spectacular. Sometimes it's not always in the limelight. Many times it's going and blowing off the leaves at the church when nobody else is there. I don't even know who blew off the leaves at the church. It just happened. I'm like, thank you, Lord, somebody did. It may be cleaning up, going to clean the bathroom. It smells terrible. Maybe it's serving in the nursery, cleaning diapers and picking boogers. I don't know. It smells terrible. See, serving isn't always glamorous. Maybe it's staying up till 3 in the morning working on your Sunday school lesson. Doesn't smell great. It's hard. But you are involved in what God is calling you to do. And so when He does, maybe He is, like this turkey call right here, calling you into ministry. How do you know? How do you know? Number one, you do it. Number two, number one, you serve. Number one, you serve, and you get work. You get busy. Number two, if y'all see, Elijah, J-A-H, is the one who took his cloak off, and he anointed Elisha and said, you're going to be my protege. Come and follow me. Think about what I've done. So Elisha invested in Elisha and said, hey, you're the next guy. So my second question are people looking at you, particularly older people, looking at you saying, man, you could do this. You could be in ministry. You could serve. You can speak. You got a Spirit of God. Something's around. I mean, when I was growing up, people would look at me like, yep, you're going to be a pastor one day. Now, I'm not saying that always happens, because definitely people can miss it. And I could have went and been whatever I want to if God didn't call me into ministry. But I did have people pouring into me saying, this is something that you could actually be good at. Now, I don't know if they were right or not, but they said, you may have a future in this. In the same way, in our lives, people, if God is calling us to ministry, a lot of times other people will invest in that calling and say, yeah, I can definitely see that. So we need to serve. My second question is, are other people looking at it, and are they saying, hey, you would do good at this? And then lastly, obviously, it's the call of God. So I can just say from my own personal experience, my whole life, I thought I was being called by God into ministry. I did not know. So I went into college. I wanted to do physical therapy. I just had broke my knee, tore my ACL, my MCL. I had like 3 or 4 knee surgeries. 3, 4. I don't know. I had several knee surgeries. And just to go into physical therapy is like what I wanted to do. So I went to college, went to go do that thing. But I was still serving in ministry. I was helping with our church back in my hometown. I was leading. I was doing the youth ministry type deal. And I felt like I was decent at it, and people would really encourage me, probably more than I should have been encouraged, telling me that, hey, I can see a future in this. And I went to Passion one year, which is why I like to go back to Passion every year, because that's where God called me. And I think God's calling other people, and I want to try to invest in that. So I was at Passion, and God, I particularly said, hey, you see what they're doing up there on the stage? See how they're leading? That's what I want you to do the rest of your life. I want you to lead people to me in worship and praise and in messages and song. So that's when I gave my life, I guess, fully. I always thought maybe in the back of my mind this is what I would do, and I would even take courses and classes and dream about. I mean, I did all the things, but it was that time, that moment when I really gave my life to Christ in the sense that I said I'm surrendering to full-time ministry, and it was in that moment that I did it. So ask yourself that. Have you had that calling? Have you had that specific experience of somebody saying you will be really good at that? Maybe God's calling you into ministry. Maybe He's just calling you to start serving. Maybe He's calling you to do a Sunday school or a small group. I don't know what it is. But ask yourself, is God calling you? And if He is, answer the call. Answer the call. Verse 21 says, Elijah returned to his oxen and slaughtered them. He used the wood right there to build a fire, to roast their flesh. He passed around the meat to the townspeople, and they all ate. Then he went with Elijah as his assistant. So Elisha, S-H-A, said yes to the calling of God and followed Elijah, J-A-H, and kind of was his protege until he went to be with the Lord. And then Elisha was the prophet of all of Israel. So then again, have your yes on the table. If God calls you, say yes. If God calls you, say yes. Well, that's one of the many things that I got out of today's chapters. I really loved a lot of other things that I wanted to talk about, but this ended up being where we landed. So anyways, hope you got a lot out of today's chapters as well. And if you want to, leave a comment down in the comment section. I'd love to hear what you got out of today's passage. And until next time, I'll see y'all tomorrow with chapters 21 through 25. Peace. Because I lost my place in the Bible. I thought I was in 18, but I was actually in 19. I couldn't find where I'm going, so I had to start over. Hey, will you?
Come on.
Hey, bro, I got a question.
Come on. Huh?
I got a question.
I got your assistant on his way.
Thanks, man. Hey, will you take that deer steak out? Let's eat it. Or deer sausage. I want to eat this sausage.
It is. There's a package in the refrigerator for you. The
Okay.
sausage isn't frozen yet.
Okay. Appreciate you.
It doesn't feel like it.